Hello, everybody. Happy Monday evening. How are you guys doing today? Hello, Shadow Runner. How are you? We'll wait for people to join. Hopefully, people join. Hopefully, they get the notification. A lot of times, YouTube does a poor job of notifying people. So we'll see who joins us. Okay. So, hello, Anna. Gosh, what did I say? Sacho, Tommy Martinez. Hello. um, just wait for people to join. See if you guys get the notification. Looks like nobody's getting the notification. Andy Gucci, hello. Jerry Scray, hello. Rachel Aguirre, hello. Fernanda Lewis, Josie Faber, Rockstar 602, what's up? Lou, Jay Olivares, hello. Christy, Ross Ginn, good evening. Jennifer Garcia, Danielle Williams, Velia, Elsa Marie. I wonder if I can make this bigger, a little bigger. Michelle, hello. Shadowrunner, Jesus Marquez Jimenez, hello. Gina, hello. Carmen, hello, everybody. So, just checking in on this, the hardest day of the week, right? The hardest day of the week is Monday, and it always seems like the first 5 days of the week are the hardest, you know. So the first 5 days. So thank you guys for tuning in all the way from Lubbock, Melinda. I have not heard from Nick. Nick, Nick, not heard from him or Miggs. Miggs had his court date today. Hopefully he went. I doubt it very much that he went, but I was supposed to pick him up, but I don't know where he moved to, basically, right, where he's at. So hopefully he made his court date, but if he didn't, uh, he'll get it sorted out one way or another. Michelle Garcia made alive, yay. Melanie Owasco, hello. Artist is in Albuquerque. Ross says I can't do another 3 hour live. Neither can I, brother. I'm definitely, we're not doing 3 hours. I just came to say hi. How are you guys doing? I took a time out from my Netflix series that I'm watching called The Last Kingdom. Right, I'm into, again, you guys already know history and all that stuff. So so I didn't. I watched that. I'm on the last season. So yeah. Kelly says, I can't stay at the moment. I will catch the replay. Good night, everyone. Thanks for hopping on, Kelly. Have a good night. We'll talk soon. Austin Lee, hello. Arissa, did you find Nick, Miggy, and Carla? I did not. They're out there missing somewhere. Valerie Lopez, hello. Vanilla Bean, hello. Sylvana Goss is in Massachusetts. Far. Have not heard from Nick. Have not heard from Nick. So good luck to him. Angelica Aubrey is in Humboldt County, California. Humboldt. It sounds like it's like up north somewhere. Humboldt. Hmm. Yeah. So hopefully he's okay, right, Nick, and get Miggs and Carla. Hopefully they're doing better. I imagine that the police moving them, right, kind of getting rid of their belongings and kind of unsettling them because they were there for 3 to 4 months, and they got kind of ripped away from their world, right, their the place where they live, and so they had to go find a new spot. to seek shelter and kind of get established. So um, maybe Miggs wasn't worrying about court. Nick wasn't worrying about the bus, and that's fine. That's on them. Stacy Randall, I'm so excited I finally caught alive. Yay. Georgia via Corda is in North Hollywood, California. Um, so yeah, I also want to touch base on I uploaded a quick YouTube short. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, probably yesterday, right? Sunday. It was Andrea. Andrea, she's a subscriber. She's been a subscriber for 2 years. Uh, Donated, stuff to help with the homeless folks that I'm encountering, and I think she's a good person. She watches these videos at home with her children, right? Their teenage children. That's the audience that these videos are really for, right? They're not for people my age, not people your age. They're really directed. Prevention through awareness is really for the young people, right? The young people that they're at school, they're at a party, and they say, "Here," somebody says, "Here, try these pills," right? Well, Andrea's daughters or family, they'd be like, "You know what? No, I watch too many videos where I see people lose their life." So um, and the title of the little short video was "How do you watch Lost in Phoenix?" Right? Because that's how Andrea and her family watches it, right? Eating snacks in bed, giggling, laughing. Um, I firmly believe that they're giggling and laughing at being filmed, right? Because the mom was going to upload it. She did upload it to Instagram, right? It wasn't even made for me. She tagged me on Instagram. I said, "Oh, cool. Let me upload it, and I'll put, how do you watch Lost in Phoenix, right?" And some of you guys replied to that. A lot of you guys replied, said, "Oh, I'm on, I watch it on the phone, or I'm in the restroom, I watch it, or I'm taking a shower, I watch it, or I'm washing the dishes and I watch videos, Lost in Phoenix videos." So that was the whole intent behind it. But I don't know how it got into this other. I could understand where people could, "Oh, why are they laughing at Erica?" Um, Again, Andrea, she's been a subscriber for 2 years, donated to the cause. So I wouldn't have uploaded a video where anybody's making fun of these folks. So you guys just have to trust me sometimes. But so it's certainly don't intend to confuse people or there to be any misunderstanding. So I'm glad for the people that gave her benefit of doubt and asked, right, in a nice, respectful way, like, "What's the point of this video?" or "Why are they laughing?" And they said, "Oh, okay, cool. I'll give the benefit of the doubt." The people that didn't do that, they castigated and they were very mean to the family and the children. So I just had to kind of block them. I think I blocked like 10 people, unfortunately, because they were very rude and mean to without knowing all the details. They just made big assumptions and started judging, and you're being very critical to, like, teenagers, right? Teenagers being teenagers, they giggle, they don't want to be filmed, they're acting silly, and so it's a little disappointing to see adults act that way, but that's okay. We're still friends. You just can't comment. Ross, again, thank you very much. Ross, you are awesome. I appreciate you. Um, the title of this video um, was show and tell. So I wanted to show you guys something that I'm passionate about. Can anybody tell me the on the video, the little thumbnail? Do you guys know what that is? Anybody wants to like venture a guess as to what that is? Anybody? La Gilbertona says pottery from the Hohokam, right? So some people say Hohokam, some people say Hohokam. I'll go in between both and I'll say Hohokam. But yeah, so Hohokam were like the ancient Native Americans that were here in Arizona. Um, 1,000 years ago, right? So I used to hike a lot before I started doing YouTube videos. I used to hike all over Phoenix, all just everywhere out in the desert and middle of nowhere. And so when you're out there, you like find all kind of stuff, just a lot of different things. Um, and I'm gonna show you some of the things that I've found. Okay, so this, what do you guys think this is? Anybody? This is a metate, right? It's a grinding stone. So some are like big like this, but this one's like a one hander where they would kind of grind like corn or maize, right? Corn, grind it into like a powder. So I found this. I think it's really really cool. They use that a lot. Uh, this, what do you guys think this is? What does it look like? What do you guys think it is? What is it used for? The metate is like a, yeah, lava rock basically, but this this is this is a piece of, gosh, I can never remember the name. I don't know if it's slate or what type of rock. So they would chip the rocks, and they would use this is like really really sharp. I could literally cut myself right now and draw blood with how sharp the edge is, right? So basically this is like their knife. They would cut their hair with it. They would cut the meat, the off the bones off of animals that they used to hunt deer, used to hunt whatever, right? And they would use this as a knife to to cut whatever they're trying to cut with. So this is a tool that's been around for about 1,000 years. Isn't that cool? So this is just the stuff that I found. I have a lot of stuff, but I can't find the other things. I have a arrow, spear point, right? So arrowhead, spear point. I have the top is busted. I don't know exactly where it's at because I moved, but I have half of it. I'll show you guys that next time. So here's the one that I showed in the video, right? So this is the outside. This is the design inside. So this is probably this was like a big massive pot like this big, right? Where they were stored their grain, their maize, their water, whatever. So this is like a big fat pot, and this is like the piece. Look at the design. Isn't that cool? Like very intricate. So they would make this stuff. This is like this is anywhere 700 to 1,000 years old. That it's just been out there laying in the sun. Isn't that amazing? Love it. So this, just look at this one. This one's really cool. I call these little nipples, right? This is like the nipple cup. This is like, I think this is like a little cup, um, and just that just happens to be the outside of it. All these little nipply things, right? So I think when they would pour hot water, the nipples will go down. They pour cold water in there, the nipples go up. I think that's my theory. So here's this design. Look, check it out. I think those are birds, right? So this is I don't know if it was a plate. I think it was a plate, but these are birds for sure. And this is the edge of the plate or bowl. Here's this one. I wish I could find all the pieces and put them together like a puzzle, but I never will. Um, this as soon as I saw this one laying on the ground, it reminded me of the Nazi symbol, right? So that just goes to show you how long that symbol has been around for different cultures and different continents for different eons of time. Um, so cool. So That's one of my favorite. Here's another design. Um, again, they're just simple cups, bowls, and there's this one. This one's like a big plate, like a platter. This one's like a big platter. On the other side, you can see all the ridges, very rough ridges on the other side. So I think it was like a platter that laid down. I think that's my theory. What do you guys think this is? These are, I think these were tadpoles. I think they're tadpoles. That's what I think, right? To me, they look like little tadpoles. Another one, a little circle of life or whatever. And I think there's more birds. I think birds. And here's like I think that's like to them that was like the water symbol, like a stream, like a river. So to us, it looks like a lightning bolt, right? So, anyways, that's I have it. I have these items in this case. I bought this little cool case, and I kind of displayed in here. But I have all kind of other stuff. I have jewelry from them, believe it or not. So they used to make bracelets from shells from the sea out in the Cortez Sea, uh, and they would make bracelets and they would trade with other tribes. And I have, unfortunately, they're broken, but it's really cool to have like jewelry from 1,000 years ago, right? So next time I'll show you them. Next show and tell, I'll show you guys. But so that's just my cool little collection that I just find out just hiking basically, right? So I found bones before. I found a coin, a Mexican coin from 18 18 something here in Arizona. It said it was 18. I don't know where it's at. I haven't seen it in a long time. 18 something, 1890, I believe. So that was interesting to find that. Like, what was that doing here? But isn't that cool? So that's I love hiking. I haven't been hiking in a long time, but I used to go out hiking all the time, hiking and gym all the time. And when I go out hiking, I'm always like finding stuff because I go out, I get off of the trail, right? If it says here's the trail, I'm the one that gets off the trail and goes up mountains, like make my own trail. So, um, um, and yeah, you just find stuff all over the place. So it's very interesting. Hopefully, one day I find a meteor, like a meteorite, and I want to find like I probably need to get a metal detector to get like gold, right? So they won't be big pieces of gold; they'll be like tiny little nuggets, but that'd be cool to have that, right? To um, I think it'd be cool. So that's like my nerd self. I just want to share that with you guys. What other what do you what's your guys' hobby, right? What do you guys uh, what do you guys like to do? Um, but again, that's I guess a hobby of mine. I'm very into history, so like the Hohokam, I like know all their story. I kind of know how long they're around, how they survived, how they ate, uh, the amazing things they did to survive, and they were long. They were they were here in the desert for just 1,000 years. Navigating or surviving out here in the desert, and it's astonishing how they managed to survive out here. But so I kind of know their story in and out, and because I've been researching it for years. So white tanks, I was at the white tanks like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when I went to go see their little waterfall. They have a waterfall over there, and it was so weird to see a waterfall outside of 30 minutes away from Phoenix, and it was May, so not a big waterfall, but water was falling down from a rock, and like there's like a big pool of water, and the water was cold in May in Phoenix. Really, really weird. Lou J 2020 does geology. That's awesome. Lou cooking. That's cool. Michael Webb says like to build dog houses and random items out of wood, or doing home repairs is fun too. That's so cool. Yeah, I can see where that'd be fun, like building, little dog houses or stuff like that, right? So I think that's awesome. How is Nick doing? I don't know how Nick's doing. He did not get on the bus. Haven't heard from him. Wish him luck. Debbie Thomas goes horseback riding. That's awesome. I haven't been on a horse in a long time. When you get on a horse, you feel how strong they are, right? You like, man, this animal is amazing. How I saw Lulu 2 days ago. She wasn't in the mood to talk. Lulu, yeah, she wasn't. They're they're sick. They're very out of it, or they're just not in the mood to talk. So that's normal for them not to talk. Tony Medina, do you know what the story is behind the girl that got the feet lost in Phoenix tattoo? Her name is Susie Lewis. She's from Liverpool, England. She's a big fan of the channel. She's on board with the mission. She has a passion for helping people. She's a tattoo enthusiast, right? Like she has a bunch of tattoos. She asked me recently, it's like, "Hey, can I get a tattoo?" And I said, "You could, you can get whatever you want. It's your body, right?" So, and that's the story behind it. She just wanted to get it, so that's awesome. That's commitment. Josie Faber says, "I collect beautiful shells. That's so cool." Victoria, what is it? Valerie Lopez goes hiking and working out. That's awesome, Valerie. Stay fit. Kelly Timian says, "I like to color, draw, and play trivia." Wow. Workbench Yarn. I love watching your videos. Awesome. Thank you, Workbench. Make sure you subscribe. I've never seen your name before, but this chat is open to everybody. So it's possible that you haven't subscribed. So please subscribe. That would be awesome. I appreciate you. Jennifer, how did her leg look? I have like 15 tattoos, but I'm sorry, no 602 for me. Jennifer, I forgive you. You're still cool. We accept you. Ashton Trokez, appreciate you, Ashton. You are awesome. Thank you. I think I missed other people up here, and I apologize. I think I was going through my pottery. Sherry Wheatley, became a super fan tonight. Sherry Wheatley, thank you very much. I appreciate you. I'm going to make you a moderator, Sherry, so that when you see people that are being mean or calling people names or just being rude or whatever, you can just kind of delete their comments and let me know, and I'll be quick to block them, Sherry. Thank you very much, Sherry. You are awesome. I appreciate you. Karen Skaggs, keep doing the job you're doing, Art. Much appreciation. Thank you very much, Karen. You are awesome. I appreciate your support. It's nice to come on here and talk to you guys, right? So you guys are seeing my little kind of hobby stuff or whatever, like I really like doing this type of stuff, right? Whether it's YouTube or whatever I'm doing, I'm like real passionate about. um, if you guys notice, I haven't been doing a lot of videos in the past 4 days, probably, and that's because I'm really busy at work. It's end of years. It's the end of the how do I say it? It's the new year for 2023, but we're kind of reviewing last year's performance. So I'm having a bunch of one-on-ones, meetings, um, you know, pay raises for my team, all that stuff. So that kind of it's a lot of work, basically, at work, because I have a full time job. A lot of people aren't aware that I have a full time job. A lot of people think that YouTube is my full time job, and it's really not. It's definitely not my full time job. I have a full time job. Been there 15 years. I stay really busy with that. I'm pretty good at what I do. I work for a really good company, and this is extra right here. This YouTube is extra, my extra time. And but I love YouTube because I never thought that we could build a community, right? Me and you guys could build this type of community where we can talk, embrace each other, get to know each other. You know, people getting tattoos that say, 602. That's just, and then they're not even in Phoenix, they're not even in Arizona, they're not even in America. They're across the Atlantic Ocean, a different world far away. But I think we're all interconnected by that human spirit, and we want to see um, our our fellow humans that are downtrodden and out in the streets and suffering, struggling, whether it's addiction or mental health or whatever. We don't want to see that, right? So we do what we can. Jennifer, thank you very much for your kind donation. You are awesome. I appreciate you. Ceci, I like plants. Do you have any plants, indoor or outdoor? Dang, that's a good question. I don't have any plants. I'm like a black thumb. I think I would kill plants. So I like plants. I think they look cool. I'm very bad. Like I barely have enough to own a tortoise, a Herman tortoise, and Phoebe. Right? They haven't they haven't died yet. So let's keep that going. Do you find arrowheads? I only found one arrowhead in my life, and it was just sitting right there, like it was the sun was shining on it, and I couldn't miss it from a mile away. And I'll show it to you guys. I don't know where it's at right now because again, I moved and all my stuff is everywhere. So next time, show and tell part two, I'll show you my little arrowhead. It's like this big. It's definitely a arrowhead. Here, because it's smaller, they call it a spear point or a pointer or whatever. So that's what they use for like fish. Because the whole com they hunted like rabbit. Um, Back here in Phoenix, back then there used to be sheep. Uh, in South Mountain, there used to be bears in South Mountain. There used to be it was like lots of different animals 1,000 years ago, right? And so they were hunting small game and lots of fish, and and they would use those little spear points for fish or birds or whatever. And I found one, so that's cool. It's broken in half, so the tip is gone, but I got most of the body, and I thought that was really really cool. That's probably my out of everything I found, that little spear point was probably my favorite. So I like touching this stuff, and somebody made this 1,000 years ago, right? So like an ancient culture made this 1,000 years ago, right? So 1,000 years ago, like a lady, right? Most likely a woman. The mom was grinding corn every day, grinding corn, grinding corn, grinding corn to feed her children, her family. 1,000 years ago, right? So 1,000 years ago, somebody was using this to cut meat off of bones, right, or animals. Because this is really sharp, super sharp. So it's like walking back in history. Those people aren't around, but their artifacts are, right. Their tools are to remind us of them, and so like these items, if they're on state land, you can't touch them. If they're on like Native American land, you can't touch them. You can't be on Native American land anyways here in Phoenix, right? You're trespassing. But when you see items that are out in uh, private land, right? There's a lot of land out here in Phoenix, Arizona, that's private, but so it's massive, and you're able to hike, and there's just tons of stuff like right under the surface. So it's really cool. That's what happens when you go out and and about and just kind of just hike. Just there's a lot to see here in Arizona, so I love it. Uh, in Arizona, gosh, what are they called? The Clovis. So the Clovis period. So close to southern Arizona, they found mammoth bones, like, right? So the mammoth roamed around with the dinosaurs. So I don't know if it was the 60s or 70s, but they found a mammoth. uh, the Clovis people, Clovis were definitely, you know, human type folks that were around when the dinosaurs were around, and so the mammoths were around, and so um, they cornered a mammoth and they killed the mammoth, and they took the meat and they left all the bones. And so in the 60s, 70s, they uncovered the bones, and there was a mammoth kill site, and that I want to go to. I've never been there. It's in southern Arizona, but I would love to go. And I'm sure there's stuff like that all over the place. We just sometimes get lucky. I was I was 2 years ago, or maybe 3 years. About 2 years ago, I was going to go into a mine. It's like a mine that's open. I had my gloves on, I had my light, I had my GoPro camera, uh, I was ready, right, to go in this mine. It was like kind of creepy because it was dark and I was by myself. And so here's the opening, right? It's a big hole in the side of the mountain. And I'm about to go. I'm about to put my hands in there like this, and to start going in the mine. I'm about to put my hand on the side of the entrance, and I see something move. Something moved like that. You know what it was? It was a snake. His head and his tail were in there. His body was sticking out, and he moved. And that's the only reason I knew that he was there. He moved his body, his little fat body, right? I was about to put my hand, and when I realized it was a snake, I got like the the back of my hair stood up, and I was just very creeped out, right? So I just got my stuff and I turned around and I just took off. And yeah, I won't I haven't been interested in going into caves since then, right? Because I got so creeped out that I almost placed my hand on a snake. If he wouldn't have done me the favor of moving, because he blended in with the side of the mountain, like it totally blended in, right? Because snakes here in Arizona do that; they blend in. And it was a rattlesnake. It was a rattlesnake. When he realized I was there, he made that little rattle noise. That was super creepy. Let me just tell you. So uh, so I've only seen two rattlers, and they're always when I've been hiking. One time was a baby, like a junior rattlesnake. He was just right in front of me. He was cruising right in front of me. I just let him pass, not bothering him, because babies are the worst. They'll just attack you. But so that was kind of creepy. So you got to be careful when you're hiking here in Arizona for sure. You'll get snakes that just pop out. You definitely have to be careful. So that's my hiking. Those are my hiking stories. I thought I'd share them with you guys. I already been talking for 34 minutes. So anybody have any crazy stories? Jenny Creek is terrified of snakes. I'm not a big fan of snakes. I'm not a big fan at all. The bad thing is that, like me, again, I go off trail. Another thing about the Hohokam is they they didn't they didn't leave us like books or anything. What they did leave us with were called petroglyphs. So that's where they would kind of carve into the side of a mountain or a big boulder. They would carve basically these type of designs. They would leave these designs on uh, the side of a mountain, right? So to them, that was their language. It meant something to them. It's just people, modern people that study them, they have no idea. We don't know what they're saying. We know what the symbolism, what it might be, whether it's birds or tadpoles, right? Tadpoles, life, right? Life is being created, right? Fish come from tadpoles, right? Birds in the sky, uh, the cycle of life, right? The cycle of life. Um, what else? Right? More birds. These are probably like seagulls or something. So to them, everything was symbolism, right? They didn't have like a written language, but that was their written language called petroglyphs. So when I go hiking, I find all kind of stuff, on the side of mountains, and it's really fascinating because I'll stand right there, I'll look at it and admire it, and I'll be standing exactly where a person stood 1,000 years ago, chipping away at the side of a mountain, leaving a message for whatever, right, generations to come. So um, I'm a big fan of history. I appreciate history, and that's kind of that's when I go out there, I do that. Um, we were talking about true crime the other day. I don't know if it was a 3 hour marathon we did recently. I don't know when we were talking about true crime, right? But I'm a big true crime fan. So there is infamous crime here in Phoenix. Look it up. It's called the Trunk Murderess, right? Winnie Ruth Judd, the Trunk Murderess, in 1930. I think it was 1930. She was uh, she's accused and was convicted of um, taking the lives of her two friends and basically cutting them up in pieces and putting them in trunks and kind of, yeah. So I don't think it's possible that she did all of that. I think somebody helped her because she was like a little petite woman, and that was all that was real heavy for her to do all that. So anyways, uh, the door, I own the door um, that was there witness at one. So um, the girls were laying in bed, and the police think that she went up to them and shot them, basically, right? And so the door to that room, that door is sitting in my garage. So it's history fascinates me. I love history, and I love, again, like, this is history, right? So I like have it in my hand, right? So like literally have history in my hand, something that's 1,000 years old, and it's really cool to reminisce and kind of appreciate history. So items can be haunted. Yeah, that's true. I don't believe in it personally, but to some people it could be haunted. Yeah, your significant other could be haunted. Your husband and your wife could be haunted. So you got to be careful there, right? So I'm not very superstitious, um, but me personally, Kelly Timian, why do you have that door? I have the door because I appreciate history. I like, first off, I like antiques. I like antiques. I own things that are like old as well, right? I own things that are very old. I still have shirts from the 1980s. Shirts that were made in the 1980s. That door was made in the 1920s, 1910. So so I'm again, I appreciate history. That door was one of those those skeleton keys, a brass doorknob. They don't make those anymore. Those aren't made anymore. It's solid, thick, heavy wood. They don't make those anymore. Doors nowadays are hollow. Um, I love stuff like that. Karen Skaggs still wears those '80s shirts. That's awesome. You're cool like me. I literally have shirts from the 1980s. Uh, so the one that I have, so I have a couple actually. In 1988, the St. Louis Cardinals football team moved from St. Louis to to Phoenix, and so back then the team was known as the Phoenix Cardinals in 1988. In 1995, they changed their name to Arizona Cardinals. So I have shirts that say Phoenix Cardinals, right? So those are from at least 88. Um, and you can tell because they're very worn, very worn and old like me. So yeah, Guns N' Roses, 1987, right? 1987, Guns N' Roses. That's when they kind of came out when they hit the scene. At least I remember them. I'm sure they were on the scene a lot earlier than that, but that's kind of when they hit it. Welcome to the Jungle. 1987, a good year. I was born in 1988. The Dodgers, right? The LA Dodgers won the World Series. They beat Oakland, the Oakland A's in 1988. Oral Hershiser was a pitcher. I remember watching all that. The good old days. Music was still good back then in the 80s. I don't know what happened. Kirk Gibson, man. So Tommy sort of puts in Kirk Gibson, and dude is like he's on one leg, right? His left leg was jacked up, and he goes in there and he goes up against the best closer in the league, right? Dennis Eckersley, right? The best closer, and and boop, hit a home run. Amazing. I was in shock. I found a whiskey bottle from the late 1800s. That is so cool. I uh I found I found a gosh, where is it at? It's in the garage. I'm gonna get all my stuff that I can find next time for show and tell part two. And I found what was it? Like a picture, not a picture, a picture, and it said Hasayampa Brewery. And so I kind of want you to do history as far as like when did that exist, right? Like, when was that going on? Because it's a very old piece. Hey Art, when you go out looking for people, do you keep an eye out for missing Daniel Robinson? I actually do. I don't think he's in the city because everybody knows who he is. Everybody knows the story. I think he hitched a ride and he's out somewhere, or he's just out in the desert, right? Another thing is that there's lots of mines, open shaft mines, all over Arizona, and it's possible that he just fell in one and just hasn't been found. It's possible he's in a cave. It's possible that he succumbed to the weather to high just it's possible that he succumbed out there. His body was out there and the animals ate it. That's very possible. I reached out to his family to do an interview, and they never got back to me. So hopefully they're found, and hopefully he's found, and good there's a reunion and a good story behind it. But it's really sad, just because what happened. Like, it's still like it's a mystery. It's like, how can people just go missing in the broad daylight? Um, I don't know. Something's off with that story. Michelle Alvarez. Um, so they've organized lots and lots of uh, search parties for Daniel Robinson. A lot of them organized by his dad and different groups. Uh, and During the course of those searches, they have found multiple human remains, multiple, like different people in different areas, right? So we might not be finding Daniel, but they're finding closure for other families that have missing people. So isn't that sad that the desert is just like a graveyard for people. Was it foul play? Were they out there hiking and they just got lost and again just succumb to the heat and just who knows? Uh, the coroner is gonna have to determine that, but sad. What do you think of the Chinese balloon? Why is there a balloon right from a different country floating over our airspace? That's really that shouldn't be happening, but that's who you guys voted for. Hiking can be dangerous in Arizona. What's one of your favorite places to hike? Gosh, I've been everywhere. Devil's Bridge that was really fun. Uh, South Mountain's fun. White Tanks is fun. Camelback is fun. Squaw Peak or Piastawa Peak is fun. Um, I've been to the one over there by Tucson, going to Tucson. What is it called? Picacho Peak. That's awesome. That's really cool. So a little bit of history, more history because I'm a history guy. Directly across the freeway from Picacho Peak, the only battle or skirmish, right? It wasn't a battle. It was like Union soldiers and Confederate soldiers were shooting at each other, and I think one Union captain died, and he got buried out there. Eventually, they dug him up and buried him somewhere else. But uh, so, in that astonishing, way out here in Arizona, away from where the Civil War was happening in the back in the 18 what 60s. uh, there was a skirmish, right? So like a little shootout, basically. Union troops, and it was a few guys on. It couldn't be more than a dozen on both sides, and they're just shooting at each other. And one guy died, and it didn't turn into more than that. I think the Confederate Army was trying to take over Arizona, but uh, the the Union had troops in California, and they sent a regiment out to, combat Confederates and say, "Nah, go back to Texas or go back to the South. You're not going to take over Arizona." And so I think the Confederates left when California sent more troops. So a little bit of history that a lot of you guys didn't know about, right? Because I barely found out like 6 7 years ago about that one. I had no clue. Caroline Preciado, thank you for what you do for the forgotten community. God bless you from Barstow, California. So Caroline, I'm trying to think if I know anybody named Preciado in California or Barstow because I went to Barstow. I lived in Barstow. I went to Barstow in the fifth grade, the seventh grade, and the ninth grade. So I went to man, what school did I go to? Elementary. I already forgot the name. Middle school was Kennedy, and I went to Barstow High School. I'm an Aztec, I guess, but that was fun. So that was a long time ago though too. So 85 was when I was there. 85. You know, crazy. I need Hawaii in my life. I was there in August, such a beautiful place. I'm gonna go back again in the next couple years. It's like real pretty. Monet Rig, how are you tonight? Art, I didn't get the notification, but I just clicked on. Yeah, again, YouTube sucks. I apologize. It's not something I'm doing or nothing you're not doing. It's YouTube sucks sometimes, right? They do a poor job of notifying people. So, I don't know what I could do. Is Tempe, Arizona near Phoenix? Yeah, it's Tempe borders Phoenix, so uh, it's next door. It's a neighbor. Tempe is a landlocked city that can't grow outwards because it's landlocked. Which island were you on? I was on the island that has Honolulu. I landed in Honolulu and I stayed in that island. I don't know. Is it Maui? I don't know. ZE needs to take a trip to Australia. So, so I was in the Navy, right, as you guys know, and I guess it's a rumor, right? I guess it's like scuttlebutt rumor that Americans loved going to Australia because the Australian women loved American servicemen because the here's a rumor, right? I'm not saying it. I'm just this is what I heard that Australian guys are really mean to their women. So Australian women would throw themselves at not me, of course, but they would throw themselves at American military men. So I don't know. I didn't see it, didn't witness it. I always remember that story about Australia, right? So, so interesting. Nydia, hi, Art. Glad I caught alive. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. I live on that island. Awesome, cool. It's a beautiful island. Everything about that island, it was beautiful. It's a little sad to see so many homeless people, right? Some people, homeless people, but but even in paradise, there's trouble sometimes. So um, I interviewed somebody, Kapeka. So maybe you know her because I interviewed her on your island. Kapeka was her name. So check it out. The video's on there. She's lost in Hawaii, Kapeka. Hawaii definitely expensive. The gas, the everything's expensive over there. Like holy jeez. I want to go to Brazil. He says, Dirt Star Master. The women there are. Uh, I probably wouldn't go to Brazil. I I probably wouldn't. Never really been interested in Brazil. That's just me though. Lisa, hi Art. Do you feel like you have to constantly watch your surroundings while you interviewing people in the streets? Yeah. Um, so I'll be interviewing people, right? I'm talking to them, and I'm like, my neck is like going like this, right? So sometimes you'll hear me like, because I'm trying to, where was I at? Like, what do because people are like walking behind me. What's he doing? They're talking. They're on the side, and yeah, I have to be quick. Like, I have to be aware of my surroundings. I just can't give my full attention to the person I'm talking to because there's people all over the place, right? With not so good intentions sometimes, right? People that are dealing, people that won't want me there, the business owners, like, what's this guy doing? What's right? The police, right? They're assuming that I'm, soliciting or that I'm selling or that I'm buying. Or business owners, they're assuming that I'm buying or soliciting or doing something, you know, inappropriate. So definitely, yeah, all of them, I'm always constantly like this. So I lose. unfortunately lose track of where I'm at or as far as what I'm saying or my next question. Unfortunately, and that's not because I'm not interested in what this person is saying, is because I have to be aware of what's going on at all times. So yeah, it's a really good question. So people will say, "Hey, why do you say Why do you hesitate? Or why are you not sure about what you didn't ask?" And they don't give me the benefit of the doubt. They don't understand because right, the camera is only showing you this. The camera doesn't show you 360. The sharks behind me, right? So what do you do? Yuleen Wages. Thank you for logging on. Appreciate you, Alice Marquez. Good evening, everyone. May God bless everyone's prayers to each and everyone. Here, stay. Much respect from Las Cruces, New Mexico. Annette Melnichuk. I want to go to Scandinavia. That sounds cold. Scandinavia. Um, go find Valhalla. Go find Thor's hammer. Jose Reyes, Costa Rica. Can't remember. I think my brother's friend went to Costa Rica or was that Dominican Republic. I don't know which one, but tacos are like 50 cents, like real cheap. Lisa Ramirez, I commend you for all that you do. It definitely can be draining. Absolutely. Sometimes I'm really tired, exhausted, and like I mentioned earlier, like I haven't done a lot of videos recently because I have a full time job and that's draining in and of itself. And then YouTube on top of that, the stress and driving around and looking for Nicks and looking for Migs and looking for the Carlos of the world and get exhausting sometimes, right? So I was really worried about Aztec and his finger, but his finger survived. I'm shocked that he still has a finger. I thought if he doesn't go to hospital, he's gonna lose his finger. He's gonna lose his hand. He might lose his life, but he still has his finger. It's still attached. Um, and Lulu, she's still out there. I saw her a couple days ago, and she's still out there. So what do you do? Would you ever go to Coachella, California, to the festival Coachella, where they're doing all kind of mayhem and craziness? No, I'll end up with kids. I'll end up with more kids. Annette Melanchek says, I live in a cold country and I'm really used to it. Annette, where do you live? What country is that? Overall, America isn't a cold country. I don't think we have pretty good balance, but there are countries that are cold, right? The Scandinavian countries, right? Those Norway and Sweden, and yeah, that'd be cool. I would go to Sweden. Sweden is beautiful, right? In the spring, I think. Coachella to interview people in Coachella. I don't even know if it's a city, a town. I don't know much about Coachella. I've heard of Coachella because of the festival. Alaska would be beautiful, right? I would love to go see the Auroras Borealis. Can anybody tell me what the Auroras Borealis is? Don't You can't Google it real quick. Auroras Borealis. What is that? Anybody? Northern Lights. Eileen Wages. She won the prize. Wow. Yeah. Northern Lights. It's like that green, little hazy, which I still don't understand how that happens. How's that possible, right? But Auroras Borealis, and I'm sure some of you guys Googled it because there's too many answers all of a sudden. Like if you guys are all, you know, experts. I think some of you guys Googled it, I'm pretty sure. Eliana from Texas, thank you for joining. Appreciate you. Karen Skaggs is I'm fostering a sloth from Costa Rica. His name is Jacko. Wow, that is so cool. Sloths are like interesting, right? Because they like move like very slowly, right? Everything they do is super slow. So that's really cool. That's awesome, Karen. Thank you for doing that. You're saving Jacko. My kids are 23 and 18. No update on Nick. Haven't seen him. Polly Pocket, hello. How are you? Mariah M is in New York. I just ate dinner and I don't have anything like a dessert. I'm not a big sweets guy. I don't do lots of sugar stuff. But I wish I had like a little piece of pie or something, or some cookies. Have none of that. Who has cookies? Who has a pie? Would you ever go back to Albuquerque? I was gonna go with Billy this month, but he went 2 weeks ago. He was like in Albuquerque. He took off without me because it's his cousin's birthday or something. So I don't know when I'm gonna go. I lived in a part of Canada where the Northern Lights came every year. That is so cool. Doing good. How's your Monday? My Monday's good. I did some community service today since I was off from work. Awesome. Stayed busy. Lou J2020J. I love sugar. Mike Myers, do you like enchiladas? Yes, I like the green ones and the red ones. I'm trying to stay away from cheese, but beautiful pottery. Thank you. I love cookies. I love cookies too. Cookies are really good. I don't need a lot of cookies. I don't need a lot of sweets. Really good about that. You reckon you are old. My kids are 31 and my deceased son would be 29. I have grandkids. Wow. I'm knocking on wood. So I thank my kids for not making me a grandpa. Crumble cookies. Oh my God, I had crumble cookies like 2 weeks ago. They make them so good, huh? Some of them sometimes they're like very, very sweet, but I like they're soft and they're warm and they kind of melt in your mouth almost. So weird. My ex was real slow like a sloth. That's why he's your ex, Lisa. Good job. Good call there. Myra Cordero, 27th Avenue Indian School has a food truck that sells the best sweets ever. So while you're eating your sweets, you're also watching the prostitution across the street and the people selling drugs. It's a horrible area, man. I feel bad for all the businesses and people that live around there. The kids going to school because it's a disaster. Do you know if Carla talked to her mom? I have no idea. As a matter, thank you for the reminder. I need to text her mom and say, hey, Maria. Her name is Maria, Carla's mom. You need to let her know that I don't know when I'm gonna see her again because they kind of got moved out of that area. Leslie, hello. How are you? I like tres leches cake. Um, I'm not a big fan of I like that wet stuff, that wet cake stuff. Not a big fan. I'll eat it, but I'm not. Why do you think Lulu won't go to the doctor or Aztec? Because they're scared of the withdrawals. The doctor's not going to give them, the pill, blues, and they need those pills every day to numb the pain, numb the hurt. Without the pills, the leg pain is going to be there, and the withdrawal pain is going to be there. So they'd rather, you know, just avoid, possibly lose a finger, but they won't be away from that addiction. Basically, it's addiction. Um, so it's amazing to see that, like in front of me, because after the video with Aztec, I was talking to him like, dude, like, can you understand my point? I asked him, I said, Aztec, trying to like rationalize with him, right? Like if he has, like if he's not addicted, I'm like, dude, can you understand like my perspective and the people that watch these videos? Like, we're concerned that you could lose your finger, you could lose your hand, you could lose your life. Like, do you understand that? Like, we're worried about you. Can you comprehend what yeah, I can see that. Yeah, but I don't think it registers, right? So um, it's really hard to have a conversation with them because they're not thinking rationally, right? I'm trying to, I have to remind myself that, what you're telling Migs and Carla and Nick and Lulu and Aztec, it's it's kind of foreign to them, right? It's not that they don't care, but they're I don't know how to phrase it or word it, but I kind of see they kind of check out sometimes, they it's just it's like they've given up on themselves. It's uh, really sad to see because these people are young. Lulu's 27, Aztec's 25, Migs is 25, Nick is 18, and Carla's 19. None of these people are close to 30. So sad, sad times. Do you ever travel to Scottsdale? Do I ever travel to Scottsdale? I was at Scottsdale Fashion Mall like last month. Yeah, I'll be going to Wisconsin in April, so I'm looking forward to that. I've been there 100 times. So, do you ever see other people interviewing? I do not know. What do you think? What do your kids think about what you do for all these people? Kids are very supportive. I've taken them uh, with me just to go see like the hot spots so they can kind of see and kind of uh, talk to them about that stuff, right? My nephews and nieces, um, talk to them about, what do you guys think? I'll ask them, what do you think about this video, and what do you think about that, and don't ever, if anybody offers you drugs, say no, right? I'm never gonna do drugs, deal. Tío means uncle in Spanish, but so so that's what it's for. It's for younger people, right? That's how you're going to prevent uh, Miggy's and Carla's and Nick's, right? You have to get them younger, right? Nick was getting in trouble when he was 14. Miggs told me he was getting in trouble when he was 16. Carla was out in the streets when she was 17 ish. So that's young, right? The youngest person I've seen on the street smoking in front of me on a scooter was 13 years old. So that means that when you're 10 years old, you need to start giving this message to these kids, right? Because if you're not talking about it, the people on the streets gonna be talking to them about it. I'll be in Madison, Mad. What do you call it? Madtown or Mad City? I think it's Mad City, Madison, Wisconsin. Wisconsin, go eat cheese. cheese curds. Jenny Creek, my son was 23 and passed from drugs. It is sad. My condolences for the loss of your child. Jenny, that's tragic. My daughter is 23. She'll be 24 at the end of the month. Um, a parent shouldn't go before a child shouldn't go before the parent. Um, so that's super sad. Mariah M, do you only have one channel? Yes, only one channel. That's all I need. Is Shorty Girl still donating goodie bags? Yeah, yeah, she is. Last time I saw her, she gives me like 20 bags, and I'll have them. And some some people will ask, why didn't you give a bag to this person? And you guys have to understand again. You guys have to understand. I've mentioned this in the past, but I'll mention it again. So I offer to give them like, hey, have you ever heard of Lost in Phoenix? Here's a bag. Would you want it? A lot of people say no, believe it or not. No, give it to somebody else. I don't need it. A lot of people say no, believe it or not. They just don't want it. So so um, so yeah, for some reason they don't want it. Kelly Timian, that's a fun, cute city. Lots of my friends went to school at UW. Yeah, they're Badgers. It's fun. Yeah, definitely. I've been to a football game there one time, and it was fun. It was cool. Yeah, I had a lot of. I've had fun there. They're really nice. People from Wisconsin are really nice and sweet and very gentle souls and just very nice, right? Unless your name is Jeffrey Dahmer, right? Because that's where he's from. So he was kind of nice too, actually, right? He just something wrong with him. Deborah, we hunted arrowheads for years and years. Then we got into antler hunting, and so did both until I broke my back. Ouch. Oh, get better, Deborah, and get back out there. Haley Rivero, I don't really have hats for purchase right now. I made one for for Shorty. This is Shorty's hat right here because she asked me for. This is Shorty's hat, so it's brand new. Um, she wanted one, so I had one made for her. Um, so if I make a bunch, I'll let you guys know, and then we'll arrange how you guys get them, or but not right now. When is a good age to have kids? Holy man, you're asking tough questions. When is a good age to have kids? In retrospect, looking back, right? Monday, Monday quarterbacking, right? Hindsight 2020. The best time to have kids is when you're in a home, you have a vehicle, you have a career, right? So don't do it backwards, right? Don't be, don't try not to be young, no schooling, no education, no career, no money, no nothing, and so that you're able to raise your family, your children with your significant other, right? Your husband, your wife. Um, I think that's what's missing in America. Is that family unit, that nuclear family is missing completely. So yeah, I think that's what's missing. Too many families are comfortable with the government raising their children. That's bad recipe. Really, really bad. Uh, Kids need both parents in their home, especially a father, to give them guidance and structure. And a lot of these people that I interview, uh, they have that common denominator: dysfunctional family, toxic family, no male role model, and you know that's Miggy, that's Nick, that's Aztec, that's on and on and on and on and on. Because I'll ask them, I'll ask them about their their story, their how's your childhood, and sad. Some have really sad childhoods. Lost in Phoenix is the new Virginity Rocks. What does that mean? Is that good or bad? My grandparents had 15 kids. Yeah, that was a different era back then, right? Life was different back then. We can't really have 15 anymore, right? Because look how expensive everything is. So, so it's shocking to me when I interview like women that have 15 kids. I have 7 kids. I have 6 kids, but I'm pregnant with my seventh. I'm out here on the streets and I'm smoking, and I can't remember what her name was, but it's really sad because what's going to become of those 7 children if their mom is out there in the streets consuming these drugs. And it's a mess. It's a mess. Had my son when I was 16. Ruby, hello, how are you? He is now almost 27. I had mine when I was 24. My first child was when I was 24. Um, yeah, it's you know, young motherhood is tough. You can you can you can do it. It's tough. It's hard. My mom was a teen mom, and guess what? It was a tough life for her. Really hard, really hard. And so, to my kids and my nieces and nephews, like, don't do it. Don't do it that way, right? Don't do it that way, because you're gonna need a lot of help from friends, from family, from the government, a lot of help, right? Or you're just gonna have to be you pulling yourself by the bootstraps. If you don't want help, it's just gonna be really hard. So, you know, um, it's just a hard life when things like that happen. Unfortunately, so life is already hard. We should plan everything to make it better. But we're human. We make mistakes. And so we're faulty individuals. And so, um, we try to do the best we can. Right? We learn from our mistakes. How was Migs and Carla? Have you seen them lately? No, I haven't seen them. The last time I saw them was at last Tuesday, but then last Wednesday, Thursday is when the police. The timing is it's kind of odd, isn't it? Isn't it? Right when I'm waiting to take Nick to the Greyhound, they get moved, and they did get moved because I went and I showed you guys a little video of the spot being cleaned. So they did get moved. It's just I can't find them. They're not communicating with me. So what do you do? Anyone know if Miggs went to court? So he had a court date today on the 6th, today at 8:30 a.m. Arizona time. Um, if you guys recall, like 2 weeks ago, I said, "Hey, dude, I'll take you. I'll take you. Right? We'll I was here for your first court date. you fell asleep, so you have a warrant for that one. But I'll come pick you up for the second one, right? Because you can't miss that one, dude. You can't miss it because they're really gonna be mad at you, right? So oh no, yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, bro, I'll be here. Yeah, yeah, come at 7:30. I'll be ready. So he knows my number. They didn't call me to let me know, hey, I'm gonna be over here. Come pick me up because it's in one ear, out the other. Doesn't care. So good luck to him. Do they have a phone? No, I don't think they have a phone. I think they have friends that have a phone and they kind of barter and trade and hey, can I borrow your phone? Here's a pill if I can borrow your phone, right? So that's kind of what they do. They it's like a little community of teamwork sometimes, right? A lot of times they steal from each other when they steal from each other, like they rob each other, they hurt each other, they fight each other. But I've been witness to where they cooperate with each other, right? I've seen people hand each other food. Hey, I'm going to a Circle K. Anybody want anything? Like they collaborate, they work together to help each other out. So deep down inside, they still have that humanity about them, right? It's Do you guys remember Sal? 2 weeks ago, I saw Sal. He was driving a car. He gets out. He stops. He parks. In the car is maybe a girlfriend, right? He's driving. He parks, and then he gets out and he starts hugging all the people out in the street, like all his friends. So I don't know if he's sober. I don't know if he's working. I don't know if that's his car, but it's so fascinating, right? To see how they return back to their friends, So that's really it's interesting the to watch that unfold in front of my eyes. Like, wow, he looks clean, but I don't know if he is. But it's like that one gal. I already forgot her name, but she said, "Oh, I don't smoke. I smoked blues 2 times, but for New Year's, she was out there with her friends, right?" So I don't know how true that is, but it's just kind of odd. Haven't seen update. Haven't heard from him. Hopefully, he's doing better. What kind of dogs are barking? The neighbors' dogs. I don't even know what type of dogs they are because they're on the other side of the wall. They must be big, German shepherds or something like massive dogs. 'Cause they're way over there, and you guys can hear them. So that's um, Virginity Rocks is a popular clothing line that teens wear. Tons of us over here in East Mesa are hooked to the channel, including teens. Lost in Phoenix will be the new Virginity Rocks. Got it. Okay, thank you for giving me context on that. Because uh, it's easy to take it into a different direction. But Virginia Rocks, popular clothing line that teens wear, makes sense. They're trying to market like a theme, right? And I think that's cool. Haley Rivero, thank you for watching in East Mesa. And yeah, these videos are geared for teens because that's a vulnerable population that nowadays is lacking guidance and structure and discipline, and they see all the craziness out in the world, and a lot of people are falling trap to what's going on in the world, unfortunately. So don't be one of those, Haley. Thank you for watching, and I appreciate you. Have you heard anything on Mr. Face? Have not, haven't seen him. Haven't He hasn't reached out to me. Hopefully, he's still working and happy and doing better. So, if I do hear from him, I'll let you guys know. Monet has a Great Dane. I have videos of her on my channel. I'm gonna have to check out your Great Dane, Monet. That's awesome. Must be like a huge, massive dog, right? Deborah, we have always dreamed of finding a Clovis head. A Clovis head has to be like massive, right? To be used on a mammoth, they had to be like huge. Man, gosh. When I retire, that's what I'm gonna be doing. Like going out there and just kind of looking for stuff like that. Any update on Lulu? At Lulu, I saw her 2 days ago. She's still out there, unfortunately. Jose Reyes has two blue nose pit bulls, 2 years old, so they're little. That's cool. Crystal Hernandez, which interview has had the biggest impact on you? Which interview has had the biggest impact on you? Which interview has had the biggest impact on you? I get asked that a lot, and I think it's like because you're asking me to choose between like my kids, right? You can't choose, right? This is my favorite or this is the most impactful. I think which with every interview, right? The popular interviews and the not so popular interviews, the ones that people always ask about, the ones that people don't. I think I connect with them, because they're lost or they need guidance. They need mentorship and help, and so I feel a connection with each one of these people I interview, whether they're younger, older, darker, lighter, taller, shorter. It doesn't matter. So I don't think I have a favorite or impactful. I think they all impact me the same. They all impact me the same. When I see like Lulu, like like her leg, that's really it's difficult to see because it's like you're watching addiction beat somebody every single day. Addiction is beating her. Gabby, right? Blake, addiction every day was torturing them and just creating their downfall. Every day we're a witness to the downfall of a human, right? Every day just going down the wrong direction. And so those are little things that I've learned that I can pick up on now. Like, man, like how much longer does this person have, right? Since I met Blake, it was limited, right? Uh, Gabby, it was limited, and so I'll remind some of the people. Remember, you heard of Gabby? You knew Gabby, like you know that she's no longer here. Like, doesn't that scare you that you be the next one that's just gonna fade away? Doesn't that scare you? So I try to bring in reality into the mix, right? And in one, out the other. Dolores Cano Martinez, how is your tortoise? Shalino is doing good. He's probably asleep over there, knocked out. I need to go give him some of the good stuff, the green stuff, the romaine lettuce. That's what he eats. Can you imagine eating lettuce every day for 80 years? Every day you're gonna eat lettuce, romaine lettuce, every day for 80 years. That's that's a trip. Anyways, that's the end of my show and tell. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed my little show and tell session. My cool pottery that's been around for uh, like I always say 1,000, but this could be like 500 years old, 700, 800, 900. So between 1,000 and 500, these pieces right here that's when they were made. So hopefully, you guys enjoyed my little show and tell. Get ready for our marathon session this weekend coming. I don't know if we're gonna do it on Friday or Saturday. Hopefully, you guys get notifications. So stay tuned. Thank you guys. 130 people in here on a Monday. It's really hard. A lot of people are asleep already because of work, and a lot of people probably didn't get notifications. So, but it was really nice talking to you guys. It was really really nice talking to you. And Myra Cordero, it's Shellino, not Chalino with a CH. It's Shellino. Shellino, because he has a big shell. Get it? So thank you guys very much. I appreciate you guys appreciating my little show and tell stuff here. Have a good night. I appreciate you guys. Stay healthy, and we'll talk soon. Okay. Good night.